Stefan Mihaly with the South Shore Press with a Suffolk County guy.
Yeah, Suffolk County. That's where I was brought up.
Erie or state.
We've had a home out there since 1870.
Wow.
We live in the same home.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So your roots are pretty deep.
It's been modernized, no longer has the outhouse, but
or the well.
or the well. That's right.
But of course, a friend of Suffolk County and all of New York State Chairman Ed Cox, a good friend. And full disclosure, and we chatted before when I was the Erie County Comptroller, I always thank Ed. I never would have won my races without your support.
Well, and you were terrific.
Well, thank you.
I'm sorry you've left politics to go and do something else, but
that's right.
Clearly, you're being very productive.
Life is great. Well, hey, let's talk the inauguration too. What are your thoughts, Chairman? Because as a cold weather guy, I can handle being outside for long periods of time. But what are your thoughts on just moving the inauguration inside?
Well, you might be able to, but Washington can't. They're not used to that amount of snow that's going to be tossed on them at that time. And just getting everyone off of Capitol Hill is a real problem. They could get them there in buses, but to get them back was going to be a real mess. And with the weather, it was just very difficult. So they did what Reagan did this in '86. And he moved everything into the rotunda. But that means a limited audience, obviously, just the people on the platform.
Now, what are your thoughts basically about just the excitement in general about a Trump presidency?
The tremendous excitement. I've never seen it really this high. And that's because this is a possibility of having a real change in our politics. The Republican Party is on its way to becoming the majority party in the country. Because the working men and women, people of paycheck to paycheck, that's 2/3 of the voters, and they really went completely, whether Hispanics or blacks or Asians, they went for Trump. More than they had in the past. They're coming our way.
And that was a huge issue too, Chairman, was immigration.
Yeah.
For folks in Suffolk County, obviously we're getting flooded. New York City, Suffolk County, the whole state just flooded with illegal immigrants. It's costing taxpayers. So a Trump presidency, what do you think it means for folks in Suffolk County when it comes to the issue of immigration?
Immigration's a big, it always was actually. I remember Steve Levy, that was a big, when he was county exec of Suffolk County, converted to the Republican side and ran for governor, as you will recall.
Right.
But immigration was a big issue with them, and there was a big gang out there, which was very serious. And when Trump got elected, he cleaned it up. But immigration is a serious issue on Long Island, and for New York City too, because New York City is the only city in the nation that has a right to shelter. So that's very attractive, and the courts have decided that extends to illegal immigrants also. And it's a sanctuary city. So put all that together, it's a huge amount of money that Mayor Adams was spending in order to accommodate under this. There's actually a court settlement that made that right to shelter that Ed Koch did a long time ago, and that has been very expensive for New York City. Felt Mayor Adams was beginning to turn on President Biden, and look what happened to him. He got indicted.
Right. Lawfare to an extreme.
This is lawfare. I mean, it was too coincidental. He was headed to the White House to talk with the president, and then to have a press conference afterwards. And all of a sudden, they took his cell phones away from him, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I mean, that's the way it was under the Biden administration. For Suffolk County now, let's talk taxes. With President Trump in office, whether it's a SALT deduction or just cutting taxes in general, it seems as though there's going to be, at least at the federal level, some relief for taxpayers in Suffolk County and across America with President Trump in office.
Yeah. There's no doubt there's going to lift the cap. The question of how much they're going to lift it. I think they're going to lift it where 90% of the people are impacted by it, middle class basically, and of course the workers of New York, they are going to get the benefit of the lifting of the cap.
And now let's talk state politics. Last question for you. I mean, obviously there's a huge win. You had big wins at the state level. I know there was an assemblyman in Western New York.
Wins. We won 11 congressional seats in 2022. They gerrymandered us into 4. We fought it every which way. We won, got the districts redrawn by a special master, and Lee Zeldin ran a terrific campaign. And the result was we won 11 seats rather than the 4 they had gerrymandered us into, and that was the majority in the House of Representatives. That had a huge impact, including for the Trump campaign.
So there were some big wins statewide this year. Now looking ahead, how do you take that momentum, that strong momentum, and say, okay, we've got a governor's race in 2026, and come hell or high water, we have to make sure that Kathy Hochul is no longer governor.
Well, first we have to win the local races that are coming up in 2025. The big race will be obviously Virginia, it'll be New Jersey. The governorships are both up, and then in New York we've got the New York City mayor. And we're looking to do much better in the city council races, and we'll see what happens in the mayors. I mean, there's the indictment playing itself out.
Andrew Cuomo.
You're right, Andrew Cuomo looking like he's going to run. So there's a lot in play in New York. And, it's very interesting. Mayor Adams won, basically. He got the working blacks and Hispanics to support him. And his basic campaign was safe streets, good jobs, good education.
Sounds like a Republican platform.
Well, yeah, it does, doesn't it? And he won. It shows that New York, even New York City, while it's blue, it's not West Side Manhattan blue, it's not Park Slope blue, it is blue collar blue. And they just want the basics and common sense policies. That's what they're looking for.
And then with the goal, and then building on that in 2026, saying we're going to focus on the governor's race.
We're going to focus on the governor's race. The legislature has been just pulled to the, as you will recall, in 2018, not only did the Republicans lose the majority in the state Senate, but 6 independent Democrats who worked with us got defeated in primaries by the AOC types, Democrats, socialists, etc.
Right.
And that, of course, dragged every other, particularly those in New York, legislators to the far left because they didn't want to get primaried like that. And so the legislature is stuck in the left lane while we are moving, the whole country, and New York City included, is moving to the center and to the right. So it's a real opportunity for us, I think, to really establish a real two-party system in New York State, which is our goal, to get back in Albany. But the only way we can do that is to win the governorship in the end and disrupt the present power structure there, which is just running New York into the ground.